are. And so where is it that we need to work on? We need to work on our own minds first. And then we can make ourselves happy, and then that can ripple to everybody that we meet.
Cool. Oh, such good responses. I love the last one. You just attacked it. I loved it. Awesome. Is there anything else? Could I have you say your full name, how you'd want to be introduced in the video, and spell that for me?
Okay.
The title? Oh, well, it's like how, like if you like be Professor Hughes or.
Because I like to be called Rose.
Okay.
But if Rosemary A. Hughes, LPC, so it's licensed professional counselor.
Okay.
And so I have two hats. One is a professor, it's teacher at Oakland, and the other is a licensed professional counselor.
Okay, cool.
And that's all going to be edited, right?
Yes. Yeah.
No, that last part.
That part won't be on there.
Yeah.
I'll just do like a little, like
intro.
as you're being introduced in the video, it'll just be like your name will be.
Oh, it'd be on writing.
Yeah.
Subtitle.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it too. And I got your hand movement. I got it.
Tom Major. All right. Great job. Cool.
Was it good?
Is there anything else that you wanna like?
Oh, I could talk for hours and 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 hours.
I brought 2 tapes just in case.
No, but I am really, really surprised that I'm on the cutting edge of incorporating women's studies and feminist pedagogy, which is the teaching, into the counseling trainer program. That's cutting edge. I am on cutting edge. That just is just amazing to me, because if we go to people for help and they're sexist, and every woman that comes into my office is messed up because of their roles. Do you see how it's to me, it's just pure logic. So that's what I'm getting my PhD in. I'm incorporating the feminist pedagogy into attempting to introduce it back into the counseling without attacking the counseling curriculum. But and there feels like education they do not have enough time to let their students get women's studies classes. These are our educators. These are our counselors. The mental health field. I was meeting with a couple of psychologists the other day, and I was educating them about women. And they were gay, and they were, and had a baby, and it's like they assuming they know everything about women's studies. And they didn't have a clue. They didn't have a clue. And the gender roles that exist in the gay community as well as in the heterosexual community, and she didn't even see that she was playing the role. So it's about, I think it's the cutting edge. And I'm so in awe that it is. To me, the women's studies is in infancy. Absolutely infancy. It's like, and I'm outraged, because I sit there in my classes and go, well, this just makes sense to me, and all my students walk out, it makes sense to them, it's just common sense. And then I have to remember about the first day of class.
Oh, I know. That's the disbelief. I mean, before class, feminism, I was like, no way, not me at all. I was the same way. And I was like, and I was more in I didn't understand, like I try not to like get myself into a situation where I have to put out opinions and I don't understand it fully and stuff. So I just be like, well, I don't understand it. And so I'm like, I didn't really understand what feminist was, so I couldn't say whether I was a feminist or not. Yeah.
But even if you did, if you go, I don't want to identify with that.
Right, until I knew.
That's not the problem.
Yeah.
Because it's such a negative.
Because it's bad press. Bad press.
You need the younger generations to get more involved and just, I don't know, that's the problem. They're just not believers, and they just don't take the time to.
But why should they be?
Because they have Paris Hilton to look after.
No, they don't have the exposure.
They They don't have any.
They don't have the exposure. They don't know anything about women's history.
Yeah.
You know, if just you guys and what you've learned about women's history, that alone would change your life. Even if you didn't see the gender construction, even if you didn't see, you know, the different things that religion does, even if you didn't see any of that, the current stuff, if you learned about women's history, go, I didn't know I didn't have to recreate the wheel.
Yeah. Well, and until I saw Iron Gut Angels, like, I still hadn't understood, like, the whole women's suffrage thing until I saw, like, on screen what they actually were going through, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Me too.
Like, oh my God, one line in
Yeah.
a history book that says in 1920 by a fight mostly led by Susan B. Anthony.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the women won the vote, or women were given the vote. They didn't win it. They were given the vote. And it's like, Wilson really was a stopper on that one, you know. But to me, it's just, well, we don't know what we don't know. That's the thing. And that's when, you know, when I say, but they're not exposed to it. We have to have women's history integrated into all levels. From, you know, from the little kids in kindergarten. I mean, to have them sitting there going, well, you know, I want my hero to be a woman. Not,
Unfortunate that not enough people have exposure to it. It's just.
Well, and I'm trying to, like, go back and, like, how many different history classes I considered being a history major, and still I had no idea about half the stuff that we talked about in your class and stuff, and I was just, like, thinking, wow, why isn't this in the history books?
you might have Jane Addams. Did you?
Yeah,
in history?
A little bit.
A little bit, but not.
I'm sure there's, like, a picture.
Yeah, but Hull House and what that revolutionized Chicago and the immigrants and you know, Upton Sinclair's jungle. I mean, that wasn't anywhere near, and it was the same time.
We did talk about the Upton Sinclair, because I had to read portions of that and stuff.
But it was simultaneous to Jane Addams' Hull House.
Okay, yeah, I think.
So you see,
I think there was,
the
like, a
jungle
section, like,
didn't
2
have,
pages of the jungle in our book, and maybe this much of Adams.
and just that alone, you know, and it's like, what is the history of men? It's the history of war and destruction. A brilliant student was pointing that out to me. You know, and the history of women is the history of life. You know, it's like birth control. You know, I mean, it's like, yeah, that there actually was, that there was a time that you could have Henry Comstock go through and police the shelves of all the medical libraries. You know, those are the things that just awe me, and we're really not that far away. I'm in awe that we, well, it's only 5% of the time we have been on this planet have we been under patriarchy, but it seems like it's been forever, and it's a natural thing. But 95% of the time, women were revered, and that's why it's so important to have women's spirituality, because it goes back to, here's the authority. It's not up there by a man with a long white beard and vending machine. Say, please, dear God, give me this. But it is the authority here, and that's what's real. And that's why I think women's spirituality is everybody's spirituality. It just happens to have the name woman in front of it. But this is where the authority is, you know. You go, yeah. Yeah.